And what's up, everybody? I'm back. Well, we're back with another episode of the Talkin' NASCAR podcast, being joined once again by Hitmaster. What up?
Hello, everyone.
This is episode number 67, where today we will be reviewing Atlanta and everything that happened there. It was quite the crazy weekend for sure. Got lots of news stuff to talk about as well. And at the end, we will preview this weekend's action at Las Vegas. So, should be all good there. But without further ado, should really get down to it. Talk about Atlanta. 2 races in, both of them being super speedway races. For the truck races, I didn't get to watch a lot of the truck race. There's some clean racing though. A guy lost his roof and was forced to quit the race. I thought that was like super funny. Like his roof flap came off and like the main part, like the driver cab area, was like completely exposed on the top, and he had to leave the race because that was illegal. I've never seen that happen before. It was crazy. But of course, our good old friend Kyle Busch entering a few select truck races. This was one of them. He held off a late charge from the field. It was a valiant effort by the rest of the field, but Kyle Busch was able to pull through and shockingly win a race in the truck series. It's kind of like he doesn't race trucks right full time, but he drives Cup full time, and he's better than the truck guys. Just saying. In Xfinity was just a shit show. Mostly clean racing, but near the end of the race, a bunch of drivers just ran out of gas. I counted, I think, about 7 or 8 drivers that ran out of gas within the final few laps of the race, including some of the drivers that were contending for the win, which I understand, and maybe 1 or 2 drivers don't completely know their fuel load, or some just try to stretch it too far and it doesn't work. But that many drivers from that many varying areas of the pack run out of gas, that's just insane. Like, how miscalculated were you really with that? And it doesn't really make a lot of sense to me. But at the end of the day, Austin Hill was able to win in overtime. It took overtime to get this race over with. But Austin Hill gets the win. It's his 2nd consecutive win in the Xfinity Series. They made a big emphasis on him winning 3 in a row at his home track now. So, congratulations, Austin Hill. I don't know why they are making such a big point of emphasis on it, but that's okay, because he still won the race, so it's okay. And then the Cup race came along. Another one that I didn't get to watch any of the Xfinity race, and I got to watch like the last 20-ish laps of truck, and I got to watch the last 20-ish laps of Cup as well. What a race the Cup Series race was. It was a complete wreck fest. There was a huge wreck on the 2nd lap of the race, and just a few more sprinkled out throughout. Then we got down to the end of the race. It was a more wrecks setting it up, but we didn't have overtime, which is key. Daytona didn't go to OT, Atlanta didn't go to OT. So there you go. You can have a super speedway finish without overtime. And what a finish this was. A literal Cars style finish. 3 wide to the line. It was just surreal watching that happen. And you couldn't tell who won the race. I think it was like 13 1,000ths of a second or something like that. One of the closest finishes ever.
That the 3rd closest finish in NASCAR history. 3rd closest. First, of course, being the number 32 and the 97.
It was crazy. And Daniel Suarez got the win. in a tight finish. It was between him and Kyle Busch, and I don't remember the third driver that was in it.
Ryan Blaney.
Ryan Blaney. But it was Suarez getting the win. Of course, I picked Suarez for the Daytona 500, and he crashes. But I don't pick him for Atlanta, and oh, la-di-da, he wins the race. We picked Corey LaJoie, and he actually finished the race. He finished like 13th or something like that, which isn't terrible. I thought he'd be more of a contender, though, and he really wasn't, but that's okay. Also in this race, there was a record broken for highest percentage of cars in the race wrecked. 38 out of the 40 drivers that started the race got involved in some sort of incident throughout the day, which is just insane. Also, there was a track record for Atlanta for lead changes during a race. I think there were 47 lead changes, if I remember correctly, which is still quite far off of the NASCAR record, which is 88 lead changes. But for Atlanta standards, that's really good. So, obviously, with it being a super speedway now, you have to expect that it's going to break that kind of a record, but it's still cool to see. But that's all we had from Atlanta. I thought it was a really good weekend. A lot of people thought so as well. Atlanta had kind of been scrutinized lately for just not being that great of a racetrack anymore. Even though the drivers really liked it, the fans didn't. And but I think this race reinvigorated a lot of people's interest in the track, and I think it's got a good future. So. And that's, at the end of the day, really all that matters. As long as we have a good future. I don't know if you have any other points to add, Hitmaster, about Atlanta.
I didn't get to watch it. All I know is that there was a three-wide finish. Like you said, it was a cars finish. And I can remember on that Monday, my dad picked me up from my friends, and he goes, "Did you see the picture of the three-wide finish?" I was like, "Yeah." Because like Kyle Busch won it. It's like, "What do you mean?" There's a picture out there of the Ryan Blaney, Kyle Busch, Daniel Suarez finish with Kyle Busch like a fake tongue out, like the cars, and it's placed on Kyle Busch. So it was a
That's funny.
three-wide.
That's funny. I like that.
It was really cool. I liked it.
That's a good one. I immediately thought of cars when I saw that finish happen. I was just like, I never thought I'd see the day when it would actually happen, and it did. It was mind blowing.
Right, NASCAR. Now we just need that. Cool.
Yep.
Make it a pretty wide finish, though, so that we can top it.
That'd be cool. Yeah. But that was all we had for Atlanta. Really good weekend, and we'll be back in July to Atlanta, so should be really good there. But that's close the book. That's all we had. Got some other news things though. For some silly season stuff. We're just 2 races into the season, 2 weeks, and we're already talking about next season. Races are expected to happen in Canada and Mexico next season. Specifically, the Clash is aimed to be in Mexico. So, now, the Mexico Series raced at the Clash in LA, and it was pretty successful, a lot of people thought. So now they're moving it to Mexico. My question is where? Where would you put it?
Mexico City, Mexico.
Yeah, but do they have the proper track or proper facilities or?
I feel like they would, even though this is a Formula One track, I think they would do the Formula One Mexico track because they did the same thing with Coda.
Yeah, they could, but for the Clash though,
I don't. Yeah, Because thinking about it, yeah, a road course or a clash kind of won't work.
I'm sure they'll figure it out if they're planning on doing that. But there's also tracks, races expected to be in Canada. That wasn't as specified. But if we can return to Montreal, that would be awesome. Thank you very much.
Yes, yes,
Can we please go
please.
back to Montreal, put on some class races, and we need to go back there ASAP. So please go back. But we'll see what happens with that. Not much else was really elaborated on that specifically. So we got some penalties though, and a lot of them. We didn't really have any post Daytona, which was kind of surprising to be honest. You would think, there were some pit road fiascos, but you would think otherwise with like the beginning of the season and things getting underway. You would think there'd be more like incidents or penalties, but no, there really wasn't. But Atlanta though brought out some penalties. First off, let's talk about Joey Logano. He was in the headlines all week because he prior to the race was sent to the rear of the field. He was actually supposed to serve a pass-through penalty at the very beginning of the race, and then would have lost a lap. But a big crash happened on lap 2, and he was spared. It didn't really matter since he ended up wrecking later in the race, anyways. But and that was all because he modified his gloves, and they weren't up to standard.
NASCAR.
And then he was also, on top of that, after having a really bad race, he was fined $10,000.
Man, put more salt in the wound.
Now I get it, right? You want to be safe. You want to have good safety protocols for, in case of a fire or, anything like that, a car. So you want to have regulations in place so drivers don't get hurt. But I feel like this is a little severe. And I'm not, I am, everybody must know this by now, but I am not a big Logano fan at all. And even I think this is stupid.
But you had him picked in the chip.
I did. That was involuntary, though. It's all by chance.
Right.
So. And then for also in Cup, the 10 of Noah Gragson and the 41 of Ryan Preece, their teams were both docked 35 driver points and 35 owner points. Apparently during the Cup race, their roof flaps also came off, which I didn't see happen, but apparently it did.
It seems like every Toyota car is having this happen. Because, look at the Truck Series, and then look at the Cup Series.
Well, these were Fords, so.
Noah Gragson is a Toyota, I thought.
He's in the 10, remember?
Oh my god. I'm an idiot. Alright, never mind. Forget anything I just said.
There you go. Anyways, I didn't see it happen, but I don't... Actually, did he? Did it happen? No, they didn't even suspend... The guy whose roof came off for the trucks, he wasn't suspended. Wasn't suspended, obviously, but didn't have any fines or anything, which is really weird why they would do it for Cup, but not the trucks. It's really weird. I don't know.
I feel like it's a situation where you're in the Cup Series, you should know better. And if you do it, this is what's going to happen. But in the Truck Series, it's like, oh, you're just a newcomer. Yeah, slap on the wrist.
Maybe. The 19 Xfinity team, as well, they were fined $5,000 for a loose lug nut that they found after the race. And also in the Xfinity Series, the crew chief for the 14 team was suspended for 2 races after getting into an altercation with Kyle Weatherman. I also did not see this happen, but it did. And can't be fighting people. Can't be doing that. I don't know why the crew chief would fight a driver. I guess it wouldn't be the first time crew chiefs got into a fight. 2004 Chicago. But it's still weird. And then, let's see here. That looks like all of the penalties from the weekend. None from the trucks, so not a huge penalty weekend, but definitely still on the upswing. So we'll see what happens at Las Vegas. But got some other news though, some sad news. As Greg Moore has passed away at age 67. You guys don't know who Greg Moore is. Yeah, it's quite young actually. Yeah, he was a long-time team manager. He's the son of Bud Moore. I think a lot of you people will know who Bud Moore is. Legendary crew chief and team owner. For the 11 car back in the day. He had been having health issues apparently. He also had a radio show. He also attempted to run for mayor of the city of Spartanburg in 2021, but he had to drop out. But he seemed to be well respected, and he will definitely be missed. So, moment of silence. Anyway, yeah, deeply saddened. So, hold on, I just gotta unlock my silver chest, and there we go. Okay, back to the regularly scheduled programming. I have a few other things. Bubba Pollard, who has been well known in the late model series, been very successful there. He is going to make his Xfinity season debut at Richmond, and he's going to be driving for none other than Junior Motorsports, one of, if not the top team in the entire Xfinity series. And that's quite the jump. You know, you're going from short track, late model action, straight to the Xfinity series. Don't even go through ARCA, don't even go through trucks. You just go straight to the Xfinity series. But he's very, very well known, and he's had a lot of success. So I will say it's probably going to transpire into something good, but, you know, we'll see. Plus, Richmond's a good track to debut at, too, because it's along the lines of what he'd race in late models. Maybe a little larger, but still along those lines. So, probably the biggest news of the week. Actually, we'll get to that next. First off, Hendrick Motorsports will be entering 10 Xfinity races this season. They'll be, you guys know they ran some last season. They'll be doing that again. I think mostly like Kyle Larson. It's going to be in maybe William Byron or whatever. But one race, they're bringing in Boris Said, who's going to be 61 this year. He's coming back for one race. Probably won't do that well, but it is Boris Said. You never know. So, still cool, though, that they're giving him a chance. He's a very well-respected road course racer, and I definitely will be good to see him out there on the track again. So, Now, probably the biggest news of the week, something we touched on a few episodes ago, but is now confirmed. Dale Jr. is leaving NBC. He will not be in the broadcast booth for NBC when they return this July. Where is he going? He's going to Amazon. Yep. He's going to the streaming services. He's also going to be like the Warner Brothers.
So we're going to see him in NFL games, and he's just going to talk in NFL games.
That would be kind of cool, honestly. He wouldn't know what he was talking about, but it'd be kind of cool. Yeah, I mean, speaking of that, it's going to be kind of like, them moving, what's his name? Al Michaels. Moving Al Michaels from NBC to Amazon. I mean, it's going to be kind of like that. And that's going to suck. Dale Jr. has been really good with NBC. It's not announced who his replacement is going to be. I would not be surprised if they do a thing that like Fox is doing, where they rotate certain people week after week, have the same recurring people, but we'll rotate them so it's different each week. But it'll be the same cast, 3 or 4 people, probably going to be drivers, former drivers that they try and bring on. I don't know who they bring on. Fox jumped on it with a lot of them, and I don't know if a lot of them are going to try and jump to NBC. I wouldn't assume so. So they might go with another crew chief, or they might go with some more legacy people. They might promote some people from the pre-race booth up to the main booth. Who knows? They got options though. So
I feel like Michael Waltrip, Mikey.
But he's been with Fox for so long. Would they let him do that? I don't know.
Michael Waltrip, okay. That, or who knows? Maybe we might see at least one boogity.
No, I don't think Darryl Waltrip's coming back.
Please.
I would not be surprised. I would not be surprised if they try and get Dale Jarrett to take the spot. Since he's already with them, Kyle Petty is another one that could possibly take the spot too. He's been in there for a few races, so those are two of the more likely candidates, I think. But it's not really been that too looked into yet. So, but I mean, to most people, it's probably not surprising to see this coming. Seeing Dale Jr. was looking to try and get out of it a few weeks ago, and now it's finally happening. So, not really that big of a surprise, but still kind of sad. But that's really all I had for the news stuff for the week. I know it didn't seem like a lot time-wise, but I mean, we had a good amount of stuff, just mostly penalty stuff and, a couple other things. But I don't know if you have anything else to add, Hitmaster, or...
Coors and Oil is basically doing very decently nowadays. Because there is going to be a special guest on June 28th. It's not a racer or anything, sadly. It says on their post, Night of Destruction is back. The first of 2 nights of Destruction will be on June 28th, including with our Night of Destruction program, will be a concert. We are honored to have Nashville recording artist Halen Pace. I don't know who she is, but...
What's the name? I'll look it up. Halen Pace?
Kaylyn.
Oh, Kaylyn Pace?
Yes.
Here we go. Kaylyn Pace. And my Google will load.
She'll be performing the national anthem and a 45-minute concert at intermission. So, of course,
this is
doing...
This is Kaylyn Pace. Everybody.
Her, yeah.
You can listen to her music on Spotify. I can't really find anything else about her, but She seems
She's a
to be.
country singer.
Yeah, I can tell she's a country singer. But here's her Facebook.
Her Facebook should
She's
have.
got 15,000 followers. Not bad. Not bad at all. Can't see anything else. That's lovely. Being very restrictive on how we can see her. Also,
I just went to the Fortune Oil
yeah,
Facebook
also
page.
my
and I just
internet's
did that.
my internet's doing like super terrible right now. Oh wait, here we go. Kalen Pace, baby, sales director. Here he is, baby. Yeah, we can see Kalen Pace.
He's not impressed.
This is LinkedIn. I can see more about this guy than the actual Kalen Pace that we're gonna see. That's on LinkedIn. I am a motivated hard worker, ready for my embark on the technology industry. Yeah, sure you are. Well, that's cool.
I think we need on June 28th, even though you don't care about the intermission, might as well go see a concert at our home track.
Might as well, man. It'd be pretty fun. So, wouldn't be the first time I see a concert at a race. Saw Three Doors Down at Bristol, and that was pretty fun. Couldn't hear anything they were saying, but it's pretty fun. So.
We actually went there after Bristol. We went to a restaurant after Bristol just real quick before we got back on the road, and it wasn't bad. Technically, I was in Virginia, but we were on the other side of the street, not Tennessee. So, yeah. All right.
But if we don't have anything else, then we can get to our predictions. Start with the truck series. Let me just pull up who's even racing.
I trust me, I'm doing the same thing. They race tomorrow, by the way. So this is our pick for tomorrow.
Or tonight. I'm watching this video when it comes out tonight.
Speaking of which, happy leap year, guys. We're
Ooh, it's at 9 o'clock. Might be able to watch that. Ooh, better keep that in mind. So I don't forget like I did last week. Anyways, my pick, I guess. Maybe we'll pick. This is hard because the first two races of the season have both been plate races. This is the first non-plate race of the season, so it's still like kind of hard to choose who I think is gonna win. But I think I'm going to pick. I'll pick Ben Rhodes.
that person.
You were going to pick Ben Rhodes too.
I'm going to pick Kyle Busch.
Is he even racing?
It shows on the entry list that he's racing for Spire Motorsports.
All right.
If he's not, and if it's just a lie, then I'll go for Christopher Bell.
Before we continue, we have an interruption. Because I just looked on Slim Jim's Twitter page.
Oh, no.
And we've got this. It says, catch Speedy Meaty on display at Las Vegas. And this is what Speedy Meaty looks like.
Huh.
Thanks, Slim Jim.
Yes, Pringleson and company do look up other people's, like, Slim Jim's Twitter because,
Hey,
competitors.
I didn't look up their Twitter specifically, okay? I just typed in NASCAR, and that was the second result on Twitter. Alright? So don't go be saying I'm looking up Slim Jim. Like, okay, So it says popular on X, formerly Twitter. First one's a tweet from NASCAR. Another guy talking about how there shouldn't be a race in Death Valley. Okay. Another one from talking about like NASCAR going to Las Vegas. And then the fourth one is Slim Jim. Like
Death Valley. Wait a minute. Are they talking about the LA Coliseum?
no, they're talking about Las Vegas because it's a thing.
Oh yeah, Death Valley is a freaking city.
Anyway. Xfinity race now. We'll get back to our predictions. The Xfinity series. Let me pull up who I think is going to win. Also, shout out Shane Van Gisbergen in just his second career Xfinity start, getting third last week.
True.
Also, shout out Jeffrey Earnhardt, top 10. Not terrible. Well, Austin Hills won the first two races, but again, they were both on plate tracks. So do I dare pick him for a three-peat? I don't dare do that, because I don't. I'm going to pick... Screw it. I'm going to pick Chandler Smith. Finish runner-up. I think he'll run better at Vegas. I think he'll get the win.
I am going to go with the person that I thought drove the 10 car, but I was an idiot and didn't think. I didn't think before I said it. I'm going with Eric Almirola, driving for the number 19 Joe Gibbs car.
Not a bad pick. Not a bad pick at all.
I was going to go with Haley Deegan, but she sucked the last two races. So.
Yeah, she wrecked at Daytona and then ran out of gas at Atlanta. So probably not best to pick her.
I think the person that's the same age as me is getting very terrible. I need to come to realize that, but I'm not going to. So, yeah. All right.
Time for our cup predictions.
Shit. Now, last week I finally won. Finally, I had Kyle Busch.
Finally, it was after 2 weeks. 2 weeks. Not finally.
2 weeks of you beating me.
We're tied. What does it mean? We're tied.
Oh yeah, it's injured. I'm sorry, my brain's just fried. Okay, so now it's 1-1. Okay, I'm wrong. All right. Sorry.
You're gonna lose this weekend. Guarantee it.
I should make a trophy. In the record. All right, Tyler. You better hope this happens. William Byron.
Hey, he won there last year. Okay.
Well,
he's good there. I like that pick. That's a good one. All right, Hitmaster.
Drop it. Josh Berry.
Not terrible.
So I might lose this one. Unless, Byron Rex.
Yeah.
That's what will happen.
Pringleson gonna go win again.
I'm gonna go 2-1. I'm gonna go 1-2.
Well, that was it for this episode. Unless we got anything else to add, which I don't think we do, but unless you do. Okay, you get one more thing.
Is that if I somehow, some way, have only one win this year of picks after just winning Daytona, I'm gonna be angry. But that's it.
Well, anyways, guys, that was it from this episode of the Talking NASCAR podcast. Next week, we will recap the efforts at Las Vegas, and we will move on to Phoenix. So, continue with the West Coast swing thing there. But anyways, if you'd like to be a guest on the Talking NASCAR podcast, all you gotta do is join the Pringles and Company Discord. Link is in the description down below. Request the Talking NASCAR role, and me and Hitmaster will get you scheduled for a time to come on and talk all things NASCAR. It'll be fun. But otherwise, that's gonna do it for this episode and this video. So stay tuned for much more amazing content from both me and Hitmaster. And until next time, see you guys later. Goodbye.